I'm going to digress for 1 second, and everyone's going to yell at me. And Karm said, don't dare ask him. But how has life been for you since the former president is now a permanent resident of your county? Has it gotten a little more interesting?
The traffic is better now that he's not president, because the area around Mar-a-Lago, which is pretty much the heart of this outside the downtown area, but it was a nightmare of traffic every time he wanted to go to the airport. West Palm Beach is one of the few downtown airports. You have an airport right in the heart of the city, and you couldn't get anywhere when he was leaving town. But now that he's a former president, traffic's much better. So in that sense, it's a plus.
It seems like he's definitely not going to answer this, but it seems like there are too many civil and criminal investigations to count against the former president. Is he eventually going to get caught in one of these, do you think? Are you able to?
I'll answer that. I talk about these things on some of your competitors.
Is he going to be in an orange jumpsuit one day?
Oh, I don't know about that, but I do believe it's more likely than not that he'll be indicted sometime after the midterm elections for the Mar-a-Lago documents matter. I think that's the greatest threat to the former president. As far as other threats, I think Georgia posed a real threat to him at the state level, and the January 6th investigation as well. But I would put it as number one being Mar-a-Lago, number two being Georgia, number three being January 6th. The civil lawsuit against him in New York by Attorney General Letitia James, that's serious too, but there's no risk of incarceration there in New York because that's a civil lawsuit.
Now, Charlie Adelson was indicted. We'll get back to you, and he's handcuffed. If he's indicted for these Mar-a-Lago documents, and we are getting back to Dan Markel in a moment, but if the former president is indicted, would we ever see a scene play out on CNN or Fox News or MSNBC where the former president, is handcuffed and taken away? Would that happen?
I don't know. We're in uncharted territory. We've never had a situation where a former president is being investigated for potential criminal charges. We've never had a situation where a former president has been arrested, indicted, or put on trial. So, anything could happen. But keep in mind this. When the feds executed a search warrant at the former president's home, they did not let anyone know. They did not let public know, the press know. They didn't have guns ablazing. They weren't in uniform. They did it in a very low-key way, getting walked through the property with the Secret Service. So if you're asking, will he be treated like every other defendant, orange jumpsuit, handcuffs? I don't know.
But the question I have,
Karm, you can't believe he answered this, and you can't believe I asked it. I can see it in your face.
Yeah, I'm very happy that he came on our show, since we are not competing with CBS.
Dave, a couple of weeks ago, she nodded off. It's definitely not happening today. I had a poker. But
One time I nodded off. I have to confess.
She's 83. She worked out that morning.
I had my 83rd birthday. I nodded off for 1 second, and he poked me.
I poked her, and she literally had an impulse reaction and started asking a great question. So it wasn't that bad. But Karm, continue on.
My question now, the other thing I do, I have senior moments. I don't remember, but I remember this time. If this thing happened it did happen in Mar-a-Lago, would your office be involved with it, or is this a federal case that would be coming out of Washington?
All the stuff is federal. The only way our office would be involved is if the former president committed a state crime here in Palm Beach County. The investigations of him are all federal, involving Mar-a-Lago. There's a couple state investigations, one in Georgia that could result in criminal charges in Fulton County, Georgia. And then there's the civil trial against him in Manhattan that's being run by the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James. But anything to do with Mar-a-Lago and his conduct in Palm Beach County, that would be an investigation and potential prosecution from the feds.